One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 9. So this was a fun episode and a lot happened in it, so a lot to talk about, and I'll try to get through it as fast as I can, so let's get into it. So Saitama saves Suiryu, as we saw at the end of the last episode. Suiryu is in dire straits as Tsubaki-san, about to kill him and whatnot, so he's crying out and Saitama comes to save him, and we're seeing that in the end Saitama is the defender of humanity. Yes, he does have his own, faults in his character and whatnot, and he does have issues with Suiryu and just people in general, but when it comes down to it, when a person is in danger and they need to be saved, or if they're crying out to be saved, such as Suiryu is, or if a monster needs to be defeated, Saitama will be there, no questions asked, and he will save you. And the way that he takes care of Bakuzan is pretty sweet. He blows half of his body off, just this typical Saitama stuff. Then it cuts to Genos, who we see is being carried away by one of Dr. Kuseno's robots. They're going to take him back to the laboratory and give him some repairs. Probably make him stronger, because that's just what keeps happening with Genos. Every time he gets repaired, he gets a significant power boost, so it's likely going to happen after this. But he's also giving us some exposition and just hyping up Goketsu further, when he is clarifying here that Goketsu did take him out with one punch, and that he's so powerful that all of the S-Class heroes need to come together to defeat him and whatnot. Another interesting thing about this that they don't say in the anime, but they do reveal to us in the manga, is that Genos likens Goketsu's power to that of what he felt from Saitama when they were training back in Season 1. Like when Saitama threw that death punch at Genos and it blew up that entire mountain face behind him. He feels that Goketsu is just as strong as that. However, they don't say it in the anime, unfortunately, but it does hype up Goketsu even more so if you do have that knowledge about him. But it really doesn't matter, because as we saw, Saitama goes off, despite Suiryu trying to stop him, goes off and just wrecks Goketsu, even says that he killed him in one punch. And I was hoping that in the anime they were actually going to show us this fight, but they don't. And it's like this in the manga too. We never see the fight. We just see the end result of it. But in the manga, Murata later on actually gave us one single panel of what the fight looked like, so it's better than nothing. But it's like Goketsu throwing this big kick at Saitama, and Saitama is dodging it. It looks incredible. Just look it up. I'm sure you can find it, no problem. Other than that, there's a fan manga of Goketsu versus Saitama, which is delicious clickbait on YouTube. Let me just clarify that that's not real. It's just a fan manga. But some people are going to probably try to pass it off as being real, but yeah, that is not. We don't get any more on this fight, unfortunately. And like I said, it would have been cool for them to use the anime to show us it, because, why not? But they don't, and I was, kind of against this when it first happened. When I first read this in the manga, I was like, man, this sucks. Goketsu was so awesome, and they built him up, and now he's just one punch, and I am aware that this is what the series is about, guys. If anyone knows, it is me, but as time went on, I realized that, it's fine. Maybe this was supposed to happen for a reason, and this is what really distinguishes One Punch Man from the other series and whatnot. And, I realized that, hey, maybe it was integral to the story, and maybe it just made things better that it did play out this way. So then Suiryu claims that he would like to become a hero, or at least is asking Saitama if he could become one, and then furthermore, he becomes a Saitama stan, because he's like, can you train me? And then Saitama hilariously is like, absolutely not. So now we've got another Saitama stan to add to the club of people who are aware of how powerful Saitama is and subsequently falling in love with him because of that. So then it cuts to Puri Puri Prisoner. It's always fun to see him. He's facing off against this free hugger monster who is a demon, and I don't think they say it in this episode. Then it cuts to Saitama and King talking, and I knew that they were going to play this scene as long as they could, because it's easy to animate and whatnot. It takes up a lot of time, and it's fine. It's kind of integral to King's character development, and even though it's not really establishing that he is a genuinely legitimate person, since the speech that he's giving Saitama came from a manga he read, but he is saying it nonetheless, and it is pretty profound stuff, and it's almost like it's as if the audience is talking to Saitama here, or at least it's one trying to use King as the mouthpiece for us, because it's like we all kind of have these hang-ups about Saitama, or at least some of us do, because he's always saying that he's bored and that nothing excites him and whatnot, and it's like, dude, yeah, we understand that you have unbelievable levels of power, unrivaled levels of power, but that doesn't mean your journey is ending. It doesn't mean that you have conquered life and that you truly know what it means to be a hero. And I think this is just giving further motivation to Saitama and the story in general, saying that it's not over. Even though Saitama has reached the top of the mountain, it doesn't mean that he has reached the top of every mountain, or that he is at the top of the world and whatnot. It's just showing us that there is a lot more growth for Saitama to have, rather than just, being in the sense of power. So then it cuts back to Garo, and we're seeing what happened to him after his encounter with Watchdog Man. He pretty much got destroyed, and it's unfortunate that we don't see as much as we do in the manga, but I guess they kind of supplemented it in the previous episode, like some scenes that we actually don't get in the manga, like him actually encountering Watchdog Man and the initial fight that begins. We're just getting the flashbacks in this episode, and that's how it plays out in the manga too, but it's also not showing us that, like, Garo is getting beat so bad that he literally runs away. Like, it doesn't clarify that in this episode. In the manga, it's pretty funny how things play out. And then Garo, well, let me also clarify that Garo is getting beat so bad because the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist isn't made or developed for people fighting like Watchdog Man, like with 4 legs, as he says in this episode, the 4-legged style. It's more so for humans and whatnot. It's not really against that style. So that's why he got beat especially bad, but it's not taking away from how powerful Watchdog Man is. He's ridiculous. But this is all we really know about Watchdog Man, so this is how we're just going to gauge his power from here. So then Garo makes the mistake of trying to fight King, and he winds up getting one-shotted, and I really like how Garo perceives King as he's going to fight him. Like, it's like King is moving in all directions at once, and he has, like, no openings. It's so cool how this plays out in the manga, but they also did it pretty good in the anime, too. And then we get this little cool moment that really makes One Punch Man special, because after this just casual encounter with Saitama and King taking him out, they start talking and they're like, man, we got to keep looking out for that Hero Hunter guy. He could be anywhere, and little did they know that they just low diffed him, like negative difficulty to him, and they just keep moving on. I love it. So then it cuts to a pretty special part of this arc, and we're seeing Sonic back in action. We haven't seen him for a while now. But we're seeing that, of course, he is still training, still trying to take out Saitama because he's throwing the kunais at the picture of Saitama that he somehow got. And then he runs into the 2 other ninjas. I think this is the first time, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're seeing them. We got Hellfire and Gale, but in the anime here, they're calling him Tempest Wind. And they have like a little scuffle in the beginning, and Sonic is surprisingly holding his own against these 2 ninjas, but of course they're not really trying to take him down. We're finding out that they're trying to recruit him to the Monster Association, and that they're revealing Sonic is coming from a ninja village. I think this is the first time this is being mentioned in the series, and apparently Sonic is from the last ninja class, which is the 44th class, and that these 2 ninjas, Hellfire and Tempest, they're coming from the 37th class. But interestingly enough, that their whole goal is to take down Flashy Flash, and they want Sonic to help them. So, we also know that Flashy Flash is a ninja as well. So does this mean that Flashy Flash is coming from the same ninja village as Sonic and Hellfire and Tempest? It remains to be seen, but this is all linked. So, we'll eventually find out what's going on with all of these guys. But also, they try to feed Sonic a monster cell, and they also show that they are monsters themselves, and that they're so fast that, like, time doesn't even wait for them. It's just they're talking, and then instantly he's behind Sonic and he's talking again, and this freaks Sonic out, of course. I love how they did this in the anime. Surprisingly, they did it well, like really showing that speed. Also, something that they don't mention in here, but they do mention in the manga, is that if you are like skilled enough and you have trained your body enough, if you take monster cells, you just won't stay in your monster form. You can transform back and forth, like you could be a human and then you can transform into a monster. It would have been nice if they explained that in the anime, but it's too bad. But yeah, so that is a thing. So then it cuts to Zombie Man, and we never see this guy. I think this is like the second time we're actually seeing him in the entire series. I think the first time was maybe in the first season at the Hero S-Class meeting. That's about it, man. Hardly ever see this guy, and he's totally one of the cooler S-Class heroes in my opinion, but we're seeing that he is tracking the Martial Gorilla Monster. This is more or less Zombie Man's like integral role to the S-Class. He's like the the noir detective type, like he gains intel. He's not just a monster buster. There's more to him than that. But as he's tracking Martial Gorilla runs into Armored Gorilla, and he's one of my favorite characters. I love this guy so much. If you're possibly confused as to who this is, we see Armored Gorilla back in the beginning of the first season when Saitama runs into the House of Evolution, him and Genos. This is the same guy guy, but now he's like more in like a domesticated mode. And we're seeing that, you know, he one-shots Martial Gorilla. So we're seeing the difference between a monster who wants to be a demon and a monster who is actually a demon level, as where Armored Gorilla is. So after that, Zombie Man decides to follow him instead. So now Zombie Man is going on a whole different mission other than, you know, going after what the Martial Gorilla thought he was going to get with the Monster Association. So after that, it cuts to Bang and Bomb, and we're still seeing that they're still tracking Garo. They're still going after that, and we're getting more, you know, development on Bang's motivation for taking down Garo. He feels responsible for, like, creating this monster. He gave Garo the power that he has, so he deemed it upon himself to, you know, have to put him down. Like, hey, I made this mess, so I gotta clean it up. So that's why Bang is so adamant about taking care of Garo. Then after that, we see that Drive Knight, you know, who we got 2 seconds of, or 3 seconds of, 2 episodes back. We're seeing that his storyline is coming back, and that he actually did get information on the Monster Association. He reveals to them that Orochi is a thing, and then he also reveals the location of the Monster Association, and coincidentally, it's in the Ghost Town portion of Z City, and yes, this is the same exact area that Saitama lives in. So, and then they're also kind of setting up that, hey, we gotta go to this place because they have Narinki's son, Waganma, as the hostage, so we gotta get him back because we don't want Narinki to pull his funding from the Hero Association. So we're gonna set this raid up, and we're gonna get these heroes together, and we're gonna do whatever we need to go and take care of this Monster Association and get the hostage back. So after that, we see this Hero Association worker bust into the room. He's like, there's a message from the Monster Association. There's a message from the Monster Association. It's something obviously not right with this guy. And we see like these horns coming out of his head. And apparently there's like some kind of parasite monster has infested him. At least that's what it looks like. And then it cuts from there. So I assume that this will pick up in the next episode. And then it cuts to Sonic. And we're seeing that Sonic is, in fact, eating the monster cells. However, he decides to cook them. Like, very impressive chef Sonic is. Like, aside from being a very impressive ninja, I guess he took up cooking as well. Maybe that was an elective in the Ninja Village. So Sonic cooks this up very well, eats it, but apparently it says that he got a bad case of the runs, which is basically diarrhea, and it doesn't go any further after that. So does this mean that it's not going to work on him? Because before this, we've seen the people who eat the monster cells eat them raw, and then they immediately become monsters after that. So does cooking it nullify the effects of it? Well, we're going to have to find out. Let me also mention that the reveal of what happens with Sonic here happens in a bonus chapter. So it's possible we may never see it in the anime. I just wanted to put that out there. But other than that, that's the end of the episode. And like I said, I enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about this one. Do you think Sonic is going to become a monster? And if you liked the video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. I have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A video that I do. And have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.